Hey guys, this is Jason from Overhype Studios, and today we are able to finally show you the new Blazing Deserts DLC in action. So before we start, just a quick note. Anything that you see in this version is still in beta testing, and all the values, names and the content may change until the release, just so that you are aware of that. Anyways, let's take a look at the new map and how we changed it. So let's take a look at everything that you already know. This is the map so far. We have the snowy north, the tundras over here with the dark forests, the meadows, mountains, swamps, all the way down to the steppe, in the very south. And at the bottom of the steppe we added a new environment. This is the desert, and most of the new content will take place over here. Now the desert is not really dead. There are also lush oases, as you can see here. And within these we have 3 big city-states. Now these are completely different from the existing noble house cities and villages, because each of them is really big, and the city-states consist from only one city, and they don't have a far-reaching realm made up of small villages or something. Now in these cities the people are very wealthy, science flourishes, and there are a lot of inventions that are not known in the north. We added a new late game crisis to the game with this DLC. We didn't do that with the other 2, so this is really big change. The late game crisis is called the Holy War. Now this takes place between the north and the south. So the southern city-states and the northern noble houses will fight for control over a set of unique locations. For example, here we have the Oracle, and this is an ancient place where people go for worship or to receive visions. And these places are of high cultural and religious value to both northerners and southerners. And the Holy War is basically a fight for control over these locations. So the fight is not about the city-states themselves or the northern states, and neither side wants to destroy the other. They just fight for the control over these holy sites. Now the especially interesting thing is that you can pick which side to aid, so you can go with the northern noble houses or with the southern city-states in this conflict. Anyways, let's take a look into this big city-state. Now this is the town screen that you know from the northern towns. Of course everything looks quite different. We have some similar services and buildings. For example, the weaponsmith, just like in the north, offers different kinds of weapons. And you can already see some of the new weapons that are only available in the south, like the two-handed scimitar, the two-handed saif, for example. And on top of that, there are some new buildings and some new goods that we also added to the game. For example, we have new trading goods, spices, silk and incense that are only produced in the southern reaches. And they can be sold for a very high margin when you take them to the northerners, as they are in high demand over there. Now we also have new food items like rice, lamb and dates that can be bought in the southern reaches. And on top of that, we of course have new arms and armors. I've already shown some of the new weapons. Over here we have some of the very classical armors that are used in the south, like linothorax made of cloth, but also very heavy armors like this reinforced southern mail shirt. Now let's jump over to something completely new, and that, for example, is the Alchemist. There's another building that's unique to the south, but more on that later. Now the Alchemist is a man of science that is able to create all kinds of potions and also firearms. Now these potions were only obtainable by crafting them from beast trophies. But now you can also buy them at the Alchemist if he happens to have some of them. He also sells the new bombs and pots that we introduced with the DLC, like for example the flash pot over here, and of course the new firearms, but more on that later. Now let's take a look at one of the new origins that come with the Blazing Deserts DLC. Now this is the Gladiator origin, and this origin is all about the arena, the new building that you can find in the southern city-states. Now these three gentlemen that you can see over here are your starting brothers. These are famed gladiators from the arenas, and each of them has a unique trait that makes them very valuable in combat. Now they, as you can already see, they have a very distinct equipment. These are the gladiator helmets and light and heavy armors, and these cannot be bought in the game. Those can only be found or maybe won in tournaments in the arena, and or you can get it through starting with this unique origin. Now these three got tired of fighting, risking their life every day in corrupted matches in the arena, and decided to go start their own mercenary company. Now that doesn't stop them from earn a coin here or there in the arena, because they really know how to do that over there. Anyways, let's take a look at their unique traits real quick. Here you can see that they are gladiator backgrounds, they are arena fighters, that gives them additional resolve, and this character has a glorious resolve trait, which allows him to reroll every failed morale check for a second chance. Now, the second one is a glorious endurance. He gains a damage reduction every time he gets hit, up to 25%. That makes him really, really tanky. And the third gladiator has glorious quickness. Every time he kills an enemy, he gets refunded an action point. Now this is in addition to any action points that get refunded with Berserk. So these are these three main characters, and as you can tell, they are very able. They start out with 2 levels that you can, of course, I already did that here, but you can freely pick what stats to raise and what perks to pick for them. And they have very good talents for fighting, and are overall extremely strong characters. Now, the thing is, they have very high wages, so you pay a lot of money straight off the bat to start with them. And that can be very challenging, especially in the early game. And the second thing is that you are not allowed to let them all die. So this origin is a bit similar to the lone wolf that we already have in the game, the hedge knight, where you are not allowed to lose that character. Now here you are not allowed to lose those 3 characters, or your campaign will come to an end. Now this seems to be like a very easy origin to start out with, but trust me, it's way harder than it looks. So let's head over to the city and take a closer look at the arena building, which is the second new building after the Alchemist that you can only find in the southern deserts. Now in the arena you can enlist your brothers to fight to the death against various opponents, and every day there will be a different fight. Now the good thing is that before entering the fight you can see what you will be up against, and the more experienced your troop will get, the more enemies you will have and the more difficult they will be. And of course the more crowns you will earn. Now the good thing about it is that you don't have to travel anywhere. You can just go to the city to have a fight. And importantly, you have to remember that the fight is to the death. So the brothers you enter into the arena will not be able to retreat. And also the enemies do not drop their equipment, so you cannot loot anything. You have to take that into account. Now let's take a look what is up for the day. Now here we have a fight against hyenas. Let's accept that. And the hyenas are a new enemy type that come in the Blazing Deserts. That's a variant of the dire wolf. It's basically a big hound that is home to the desert and inflicts a lot of bleeding damage with its attack. It's a very deadly early to mid game enemy. Now here you can see the wrap up of the contract again, and it says that you can equip 3 brothers with your arena colors. That is the method you can use to select who will fight in the arena. And then you have to enter the arena for the fight and defeat the hyenas, and you will get a decent amount of crowns. Let's accept and pop these collars onto our fighters. Now they go into the accessory slot, and that is why you cannot bring, for example, a war dog to increase your odds. Now, once you win in the arena, you will accumulate points towards a arena fighter trait. Be aware that you don't have to be a gladiator or take the gladiator origin to fight in the arena. I just thought it was a very fitting theme to use to showcase the arena fights. And these traits can be earned by any fighter, any brother. Usually you will fight with 3 brothers in the arena, but there are special events, special city situations like this where there's a large tournament, and there you will fight more with like 5 brothers against bigger groups of enemies, and you have 3 fights in a row. And if you stand through all of these fights, you can earn named items in the arena. So you can basically enter a city and earn a named item, which can be a very, very handy way without all the exploration that's usually used or needed to get your hands on a named item. Anyways, we are ready to go back into the arena, like so, and let's enter the fight. Now here the hyenas are coming. Now these 2 hyenas are not really big challenge because the gladiators are very strong in the beginning, but I think it's a very good place to showcase the arena. Here you can see all the people watching on the sides, all the bystanders. And as you can notice, we have a special set of sound effects where people will comment on your moves, on hits and misses, and there will be an announcer who announces the wins and losses. So it's quite the atmosphere in the arena. Now let's try to stun this one and miss. And now we have a new weapon. It's called the Katal Dagger, and it has a very special skill. It's a dagger type weapon, and it has the death blow. So when you are attacking a target that's incapacitated, be it stunned or otherwise incapacitated, you do a lot more damage against it. So this is basically an assassin's weapon. Now let's try and combine it with the well, let's wait for 1 turn, just a simple step. Let's wait for the next turn. The crowd is cheering. Now these hyenas have a very tough time to get through our armor, but you can see that they are already stacking the overwhelm status effect, lowering our melee skill as well. Now let's hand out some attacks. The people are cheering. And we put a net on it, and now when we hit the death blow ability, it will receive additional damage from it. There we go, and the crowd cheers. Let's try and dish out some hits on this one. Now armor is a very good thing to have against these hyenas, but if you don't have a lot of armor, they will inflict lots of bleeding damages. Let's quickly recover. And I think it's time for us to finish this fight. As you can see, people are very pleased. We made a decent amount of experience. And you're gonna keep the full experience that you're making here, so it can be quite a good way to get certain brothers up to level. Now here we are back on the world map after that arena fight. Now the crowd really did like it, but it was not a very challenging fight, nor was it a very exciting one. But the further you get into the campaign, the harder these fights will get, and the more exciting, of course, because they are fought to the death. Anyways, that's all that we will show you today. There's a lot more to come. The Blazing Deserts DLC will be the biggest DLC we have made so far, and does have a lot more content that we want you to show you. So, for example, the new retinue feature, new enemies, new weapons, the gunpowder weapons to show you how they will work. And we are really excited to continue our little video series next week with a new video. And just make sure to follow our channels to get the notification once the new video is up.